Syamantaka. Because of this Syamantaka jewel, there was a misunderstanding between King Satyajit and the Yadu dynasty. Later, the matter was settled when Satyajit voluntarily offered Krishna his daughter, Satyabhama, along with the Syamantaka jewel. Not only Satyabhama, but also Jambavanti, the daughter of Jambavan, was married to Krishna on account of the Syamantaka jewel. These two marriages took place before the appearance of Pradumna, which was described in the last chapter. How King Satyajit offended the Yadu dynasty and how he later came to his senses and offered his daughter and Syamantaka jewel to Krishna are described as follows. Since he was a great devotee of the sun god, King Satyajit gradually entered into a friendly relationship with him. The sun god was pleased with him and delivered to him the exceptional jewel known as Syamantaka. When Satyajit wore this jewel in a locket around his neck, he appeared exactly like an imitation sun god. Putting on this jewel, he entered the city of Dwarka, and people thought that the sun god had come into the city to see Krishna. They knew that Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was sometimes visited by the demigods. So while Satyajit was visiting the city of Dwarka, all the inhabitants except Krishna took him to be the sun god himself. Although King Satyajit was known to everyone, he could not be recognized because of the dazzling effulgence of Syamantaka jewel. Mistaking Satyajit to be the sun god, some of the important citizens of Dwarka immediately went to Krishna and inform him that the sun god had arrived to see him. At that time, Krishna was playing chess. One of the important residents of Dwarka spoke thus: "My dear Lord Narayan, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In your primary portion as Narayan or Vishnu, you have 4 hands with different symbols: the conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower. You are actually the owner of everything, but in spite of your being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, you descended in Vrindavan to act as a child of Yasoda Mata, who sometimes used to tie you up with her ropes, and you are celebrated therefore by the name Damodara. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, as accepted by the citizens of Dwarka, was later confirmed by the great Mayavadi philosopher, leader, Shankaracharya. By accepting the Lord as impersonal, he did not reject the Lord's personal form. Everything which has form in this material world is subject to creation, maintenance and annihilation. But because the Supreme Personality of God, Narayan, does not have a material form, subject to these limitations, Shankaracharya, to convince the less intelligent men who take Krishna to be an ordinary human being, said that God is impersonal. This impersonality means that he is not a person of this material condition. He is a transcendental personality without a material body. The citizens of Dwarka addressed Lord Krishna not only as Damodara, but also as Govinda, which indicates that Krishna is very affectionate to the cows and cows. Just to refer to the intimate connection with Krishna, they addressed him as Yadu Nandan, because he was born as the son of Vasudeva, as the Yadu dynasty. The citizens of Dwarka concluded addressing Krishna as the Supreme Master of the whole universe. They addressed Krishna in many different ways, proud of being citizens of Dwarka who could see Krishna daily. When Satyajit was visiting the city of Dwarka, the citizens felt great pride to think that although Krishna was living in Dwarka like an ordinary human being, the demigods were coming to see him. Thus they informed Lord Krishna that the sun god, with his glaring bodily effulgence, was coming to see him. The citizens of Dwarka confirmed that the sun god is coming into the Dwarka was not a very wonderful, because people all over the universe who were searching after the Supreme Personality of Godhead knew that he had appeared in the Yadu dynasty and was living in Dwarka as one of the members of that family. Thus the citizens expressed their joy on this occasion. On hearing the statements of his citizens, the all-pervasive personality of Godhead, Krishna simply smiled. Being pleased with the citizens of Dwarka, Krishna informed them that the person they had described as sun god was actually King Satyajit, who had come to visit Dwarka city to show his opulence in the form of the valuable jewel obtained from the sun god. Satyajit, however, did not come to see Krishna. He was instead overwhelmed by the Syamantaka jewel. He installed the jewel in a temple to be worshipped by Brahmanas. He engaged for this purpose. This is an example of a less intelligent person worshipping a material thing. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that less intelligent persons, in order to get immediate results from their fruitive activities, worship the demigods created within this universe. The word materialist means one concerned with gratification of the senses within this material world. Although Krishna later asked for this Syamantaka jewel, King Satyajit did not deliver it. On the contrary, he installed the jewel for his own purposes of worship. And who would not worship that jewel? The Syamantaka jewel was so powerful that daily it produced a large quantity of gold. A quantity of gold is counted by measurements so-called bara. According to Vedic formula, 1 bara is equal to about 21 pounds, and 1 mound equals about 82 pounds. The jewel was producing about 170 pounds of gold every day. Besides that, it is learned that from the Vedic literature that in whatever part of the world this jewel was worshipped, there was no possibility of famine, and wherever the jewel was present, there was no possibility of anything inauspicious, such as pestilence. Lord Krishna wanted to teach the world that the best of everything should be offered to the ruling chief of the country. King Ugrasen was the overlord of many dynasties and happened to be the grandfather of Krishna. So Krishna asked Satyajit to present the Syamantaka jewel to King Ugrasena. Krishna pleaded that the best should be offered to the king, but Satyajit, being a worshipper of demigods, had become too materialistic, and instead of accepting the request of Krishna, he thought it was wise to worship the jewel to get 170 pounds of gold every day. Materialistic persons who can achieve such huge quantities of gold are not interested in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, therefore, to show special favor, Krishna takes away one's great accumulations of materialistic wealth and thus makes one into a great devotee. But Satyajit refused to abide by the order of Krishna, did not deliver the jewel. After this incident, Satyajit's younger brother, in order to display the opulence of the family, took the jewel, put it on his neck, and rode on the horseback into the forest, making a show of his material opulence. While Satyajit's brother, who was known as Prasena, was moving here and there in the forest, a big lion attacked him. Killed both him and the horse on which he was riding, and took away the jewel to his cave. News of this was received by the gorilla king Jambavan, who then killed that lion in the cave and took away the jewel. Jambavan had been a great devotee of the Lord since the time of Lord Ramachandra. So he did not take the valuable jewel as something he very much needed. He gave it to his young son to play with as a toy. In the city, when Satyajit's younger brother Prasenna did not return from the forest with the jewel, Satyajit became very upset. He did not know that his brother had been killed by the lion and that the lion had been killed by Jambavan. He thought instead that because Krishna wanted the jewel which had not been delivered to him, Krishna might have therefore taken the jewel from Prasenna by force and killed him. This idea grew into a rumor which Satyajit spread in every part of Dwarka. The false rumor that Krishna had killed Prasenna and taken away the jewel spread everywhere like wildfire. Krishna did not like to be defamed in that way. Therefore he decided that he would go to the forest and find the Syamantaka jewel. Taking with him some of the important citizens, inhabitants of Dwarka, Krishna went to search out Prasenna, the brother of Satyajit, and found him dead, killed by the lion. At the same time, Krishna also found the lion killed by Jambavan, who is generally called Raksha. It is found that the lion had been killed by the hand of Raksha without the assistance of any weapon. Krishna and the citizens of Dwarka then found in the forest a great tunnel said to be the path to Raksha's house. Krishna knew that the inhabitants of Dwarka would be afraid to enter the tunnel. Therefore he asked them to remain outside and he himself entered the dark tunnel alone to find Raksha. Jambavan. After entering the tunnel, Krishna saw that the valuable jewel known as Syamantaka had been given to the son of Raksha as a toy. To take the jewel from the child, Krishna approached and stood before him. When the nurse taking care of Raksha's child saw Krishna standing before her, she was afraid, thinking he might take away the valuable Syamantaka jewel, and she cried out loudly in fear. Hearing the nurse's cry, Jambavan appeared on the scene in a very angry mood. Jambavan was actually a great devotee of Lord Krishna. Because he was angry, he could not recognize his master and thought that him to be an ordinary man. This brings to mind the statement of Bhagavad Gita in which the Lord advises Arjuna to get free from anger, greed and lust in order to rise to the spiritual platform. Lust, anger and greed run parallel in the heart and check our progress on the spiritual path. Not recognizing his master, Jambavan challenged him to a fight. There was then a great fight between Krishna and Jambavan in which they fought like two opposing vultures. Whenever there is a eatable corpse, the vultures fight heartily over the prey. Krishna and Jambavan first of all fought with weapons, then with stones, then with big trees, then hand to hand, until last they were hitting each other with their fists. Their blows like the striking of thunderbolts. Each expected victory over the other, but the fighting continued for 28 days, both daytime and night, without stopping. Although Jambavan was the strongest living entity of that time, practically all his joints of his bodily limbs became slackened, and his strength was reduced practically to nil, for he was struck constantly by the fist of Sri Krishna. Feeling very tired, with perspiration all over his body, Jambavan was astonished. Who was this opponent who was fighting so hard with him? Jambavan was quite aware of his own superhuman bodily strength, but when he felt tired and from being struck by Krishna, he could understand that Krishna was no one else but his worshipful Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This incident has special significance for devotees. In the beginning, Jambavan could not understand Krishna because his vision was obscured by material attachment. He was attached to his boy and to the greatly valuable Syamantaka jewel, which he did not want to spare for Krishna. In fact, when Krishna came there, he was very angry, thinking that Krishna had come to take away the jewel. This is the material position. Although one is very strong in body, that cannot help him understand Krishna. In a sporting attitude, Krishna wanted to engage in a mock fight with his devotee. As we have experienced from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has all the propensities and instincts of a human being. Sometimes, in a sportive spirit, he wishes to fight to make a show of bodily strength. And when he so desires, he selects one of his suitable devotees to give him that pleasure. Krishna desired his pleasure from mock fighting with Jambavan. Although Jambavan was a devotee by nature, he did not know that his opponent was Krishna while giving service to the Lord by his bodily strength. As soon as Krishna was pleased by the fighting, Jambavan immediately understood that his opponent was none other than the Supreme Lord himself. The conclusion is that he could understand Krishna by his service, for Krishna is sometimes satisfied by fighting also. Jambavan therefore said to the Lord, "My dear Lord, I can now understand who you are. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the source of everyone's strength, wealth, reputation, beauty, wisdom and renunciation." This statement of Jambavan is confirmed by Vedanta Sutra, where the Supreme Lord is declared to be the source of everything. Jambavan is identified Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality, Lord Vishnu. My dear Lord, you are the creator of the creators of the universal affairs. This statement is very instructive to the ordinary man who is amazed by the activities of a person with exceptional brain. The ordinary man is surprised to see the inventions of a great scientist, but the statement of Jambavan confirms that although a scientist may be creator of many wonderful things, Krishna is the creator of the scientists. He is the creator of not only one scientist, but millions of scientists. He is the creator of not only one scientist, but millions of trillions all over the universe. Krishna is creator of the scientists. He is the creator of not only one scientist, but millions and trillions all over the universe. Jambavan said further, not only are you the creator of the creators, but you are also the creator of the material elements which the so-called creators manipulate. Scientists utilize this physical element or laws of material nature to do something wonderful, but actually such laws and elements are also the creation of Krishna. This is actual scientific understanding. Let intelligent men do not try to understand who created the brain of the scientists. They are satisfied simply to see the wonderful creation and inventions of a scientist. Jambavan continued, my dear Lord, the time factor which combines all the physical elements is also your representative. You are the supreme time factor in which all creations take place, is maintained and finally annihilated. And beyond the physical elements, the time factor, the persons who manipulate the ingredients and the advantage of creation are all part and parcel of you. The living entity is therefore, and the living entity is not therefore the independent creator. By studying all the factors of the material perspective, one can see that you are the supreme controller and the Lord of everything. My dear Lord, I can therefore understand that you are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead whom I worship as Lord Ramachandra. My Lord Ramachandra wanted to construct a bridge over the ocean I saw personally how the ocean became agitated simply by my lords glancing over it. When the whole ocean became agitated, living entities like whales, alligators and Timingila fish all became perturbed. Timingila fish in the ocean can swallow big other aquatics like whales in one gulp. In this way, the ocean was forced to give way and allow Lord Ramachandra to cross to the island known as Lanka. Lord Ramachandra's construction of a bridge over the ocean from Cape Kaman to Lanka is still well known to everyone. After the construction of the bridge, a fire was set all over the kingdom of Ravana. During fighting with Ravana, every part of his limbs was slashed to pieces by your sharp arrows, and his heads fell to the face of the earth. Now I can understand that you are none other than my Lord Ramachandra. No one else has such immeasurable strength. No one else could defeat me in this way. So let's see how far, much more to go. Okay, this will be finished. Lord Krishna was satisfied with praise of statements of Jambavan, and to mitigate Jambavan's pain, he began to lightly rub the lotus palms of his hand all over Jambavan's body. Thus Jambavan at once felt relief from the fatigue of the great fight. Lord Krishna thus addressed him as King Jambavan, because he, not the lion, was actually the king of the forest, having killed the lion with his bare hands, without a weapon. Krishna informed Jambavan that he had come to ask for the Syamantaka jewel, because ever since it had been stolen, his name had been defamed as less intelligent. Krishna plainly informed him that he had come there to ask for the jewel in order to be free from the defamation. Jambavan understood the whole situation. Just to satisfy the Lord, he immediately delivered not only the Syamantaka jewel, but also his daughter Jambavanti, who was of marriageable age, and presented her to Lord Krishna. The episode of Jambavan's marriage with Lord Krishna and the delivery of the jewel known as Syamantaka was finished within the mountain cave. Although the fighting between Krishna and Jambavan went on for 28 days, the inhabitants of Dwarka waited outside the tunnel for 12 days, and after that they decided that something undesirable must have happened. They could not understand for certain what had actually happened, and being very sorry and tired, they returned to the city of Dwarka. Okay, so I'll give a few points from this story of Syamantaka jewel. There's another chapter after this, chapter 57. So according to Jiva Goswami, in his he wrote a book about Krishna's pastime, Gopal Champu. He explains that Satyaji's daughter Satyabhama, she was worshipping Krishna from a young age, and she wanted Krishna to be her husband. So Krishna accepted her. When Satyajit gave the Syamantaka jewel to Krishna, because Krishna gave him back the jewel. When he wanted to give the jewel, Krishna didn't accept it, because there was no devotion behind getting the jewel. How Satyajit got the jewel, there's no devotion behind it. So Krishna only wants our devotion, so he took Satyabhama because she had devotion towards Krishna. So that's one point to understand from the story of Syamantaka jewel. And there's other points like Akrura and Satadanya. So Satadanya was a devotee of Krishna, but he took bad association of Kamsa. So Because of bad association, he got implicated in killing Satyajit. And Akrura, when he took Krishna Balaram out of Vrindavan to go to Mathura, he didn't pacify the gopis. So the gopis cursed him because he didn't pacify their feelings. So in this way, he also got implicated in the killing of Satyajit. So the lesson to learn from that is we have to be careful in dealing with other people's feelings, especially those who are devotees. Kind words, pacification should be there. And this so there is yes, so Akrura was banished to Kashi, and although the shaman took her, so then Krishna summoned Akrura to come to Dwarka, and they were searching for the Syamantaka jewel. Krishna was searching for the Syamantaka jewel. But Krishna knew ultimately where he was, but he was playing as a human being. He came to play these pastimes. And Krishna asked Akrura to show the Syamantaka jewel to his relatives, and just to pacify them. But there's a blessing behind the story of the Syamantaka jewels, and anyone who hears it will become, his enemies will not be able to get, he'll be victorious over his enemies. And so that's one of the blessings of this story. And Shiva Maharaj comments about this 170 pounds what the Syamantaka jewel was producing in mounds, so it's like millions of pounds of gold he was producing every day. And another lesson to learn from this story is too much opulence can deviate someone from Krishna consciousness. So opulence generally is given to those who are advanced in Krishna consciousness. They can deal with opulence. For those who are new, they have to be careful with opulence, that it doesn't deviate them from Krishna consciousness. That was the thing why Jambavan got angry, because he was attached to the opulence of the Syamantaka jewel. So that shows how opulence can block one's vision on the spiritual path. Any questions or comments? Hmm. Yes, so he says the opulence of Brahmana that he does austerity. So if opulence comes to him, he doesn't keep it. He gives it for good causes. So yeah. Any other comments, questions? Okay. Well, you can ask after the class we can discuss. There's only not long to go now. 5 minutes. It's not part of the class, the questions. Huh? Is it part of the class or not? Well, well, actually, there's an example of that. Sanatan Goswami, he was one of those Lord Chaitanya's associates. He had a touchstone given to him. Touchstone is like a philosopher's stone. Whatever iron you touch becomes gold. So he just left that in a rubbish bin. He didn't touch it. He didn't touch that. He didn't touch that Syamantaka jewel. To show the point that opulence can deviate you from the spiritual path. He himself kept renounced. And then one person was worshipping Lord Shiva for the highest benediction. And Lord Shiva told him to go to Sanatan Goswami. And Sanatan Goswami gave him this touchstone, which was in the rubbish bin. And this person asked Sanatan Goswami, this is opulence. Why you kept it in the rubbish bin? So then he threw it in the Yamuna, then Sanatan Goswami gave him the Maha Mantra. So the Maha Mantra is the real opulence. That's the eternal opulence. These other opulences we lose when you die. Maha Mantra will go with you. We could stop now, nearly 7 o'clock. Jai Krishna Book ki Jai.
मनोर का नाम लिखा देखो बराबर देखो सब ऐसा ही है
नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले विराजमानम्
नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं sit down, please. This article is sitting down. Sit down.
Yashoda Vyolokhaladavamanam Param Samatyanta Torutyo Gopya Yashoda Vyolokhaladavamanam Param Samatyanta Torutyo Gopya Yudam Tamohunetam Yupam Nijantam Saramodya Yudumena Satam Kanetam Yudam Tamohunetam स्वलीला आनंद कुंडे सगोषम मा जानता मख्यपयंता स्वलीला आनंद कुंडे स्वगोषम मा जानता अख्यापयंता तदेशिकादेषु भक्तिजितात्मा अनपेमतस्तं तथा वृत्तिवन्दे तदेशिकादेषु भक्तिजितात्मा गुणाप्रेमतस्तं सदा वृत्तिवन्दे वन्दे मोक्षं न मोक्षमदेव वदेहं वरे सदपिह वरं देव मोक्षं न मोक्षमदेव वदेहं वरे सदपिह इदं देवभुवनाथ गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्या विरासं किमन्ये 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 इदं ते मुखं भोजं मदन्तनीले वदं कुन्तले सीताराक्षस्य गोप्य इदं ते मुखं भोजं मदन्तनीले वदं कुन्तले सीताराक्षस्य गोप्य इदं ते मुखं भोजं मदन्तनीले वदं कुन्तले सीताराक्षस्य गोप्य मनस्या विलासं बालं लक्ष्यलाले Namo Shri Damodara Jaya Radha Rasi Hari Radha Rasi Hari Radha Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Srimati Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Radha Raman Radha Raman Radhe Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Gauranita 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 Jaya Gauranita Shri Radha Damodar ki, Yashoda Damodar ki.
To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge and bliss, whose shark-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who I, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt, that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from the swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding water in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound not with ropes, but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances, Lord Damodar, hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours, as Balagopala and Vrindavana, may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this? O Lord, Your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair, tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimbo fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodara, just as the two sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you, in your form as a baby tied with rope to a wooden grinding mortar. In the same way, please give to me your own Prema Bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord who displays unlimited pastimes.
Krishna. Louder. Hare Krishna. So all of you should be know this month is called Kartik month. Damodar special month. Is only one more day left. So we can be praying to Lord Damodar. In Narad Puran is say, everybody please, Narad Puran is say, if you perform the devotional service in this month, it multiplied by 1,000 times. So everybody raise a hand up there, hands up and say behind me, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You can chant more louder. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Ram Ram. Radha Gokulanand Bhagwan ki. Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki. Gaur-Nitai ki. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki. Jagannath Puri ki. Ayodhya Dham ki. Ganga Mai ki. Jamuna Mai ki. Tulsi Devi ki. Shri Narsingh Bhagwan ki. Bhaktivedanta Manor ki. Srila Prabhupada louder with power. Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. So tomorrow everyone must come. The last day for Damodara to come. Your devotional service will be multiplied 1,000 times. So please take advantage of that. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hello, Prabhu. You okay? Yeah, no, you okay? Nice to see you. Okay, yeah?
Just came back.
Came back. Yeah, she came back.
Is there anything special from the Morris Prasad or anything which we can get it